Hi everyone! Hi, where did you say hey? My name is Liz and I am a kitten soldier, and this is my first video going up on the Kitten Soldier YouTube page. And the purpose of this, or not page, channel is to promote fostering, to promote rescuing of felines, of our feline friends. And this is all about fostering in this first video. So today we're going to talk about the importance of fostering, why you should foster, and how to get started with fostering. I've actually gotten a lot of messages on my Facebook page that is called Kitten Soldier, and a lot of people want to foster but they're not sure how to start the process and how to go about it. They have a lot of questions, specifically people who are new to bottle feeding and that's something that they want to do and they're not sure how to. So I wanted to kind of address a lot of these things in this video today. So the first thing I want to say is, if you are watching this, thank you for supporting me and what I want to do. Thank you for even watching this and considering the thought of fostering and rescuing these animals. We need to be their voices. We have to be advocates for them, and it's just awesome that you are even taking the time to watch this video in your busy schedule. So first off, thank you so much for joining me today. What is fostering? So fostering is when you take an animal or multiple animals into your home and you give them love, you feed them, you care for them, and you kind of give them a safe place to be until their forever home finds them and adopts them. So usually fostering can go anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. It really just depends on the situation, the animal that you get, and your area and the rescue program or shelter that you are fostering for. So for example, if it's a really busy season, you may not have them for as long. Or if it's a slower season, a slower time, you may have them a little bit longer. Or if it's not something that's widely known in your area, so maybe you're in somewhere that's kind of remote or not as popular with adoptions, it can really vary. It can also vary from if you have a really sick foster and you are caring for them until they're well, so you can have them until maybe they've been tested and cured for whatever illness they may have, or maybe they're just a baby and you are bottle feeding them and you have to wait until they can use the bathroom and eat on their own before they can be spayed and vaccinated, or spayed and neutered and vaccinated to go to their new home. So how long you want to foster is kind of up to you. So if you want to do short term, then you could get some kittens and that are eating and going to the bathroom on their own, maybe 8 to 10 weeks old. You could get them and then you wouldn't have them for very long. If you want to do longer fostering, you could get some that maybe a mama and babies or an older cat. And it's really up to you. I would always recommend talking to your shelter and seeing their specific guidelines. Sometimes if you get a bottle baby and you bottle feed them until they are old enough, whenever they're old enough they go into the shelter, so where they can physically meet with people, or you may have them until they're fully adopted. So it's really just up to your shelter and rescue on their preference for it. So that's what fostering is. What supplies do I need to foster? Does it cost anything to foster? So yes and no. So no, because if you are fostering through a rescue or shelter, the vetting is through them. I would say 99.9% of the time. So the spaying, neutering, vaccines, if they're sick and need any medications, anything like that is usually covered in the shelter or rescue program that you're working or volunteering for. I would say yes, because some organizations don't supply anything that you need. So no bedding, food, litter, if it's a baby, no bottles, formula, wipes, such as that. So again, it's really important just to talk to the foster coordinator at the rescue or shelter that you're looking to volunteer for, and they'll give you all of their specific guidelines. I always tell people when they ask, even if your shelter or rescue does provide supplies, I like to always have my own stash. So I always like to have my own supplies as a backup, just in case maybe I take in an animal that's not through them, or if, in case of emergency, maybe I run out and I can't get a hold of anyone. If I run out of formula, it's good that I have an extra can of formula. So you never know, maybe the stores are closed. So I like to just have some things that are my own that I can keep for myself. I do volunteer and foster through some rescue organizations and shelters in my area, but I also take in kittens from the community. So I just moved to a new area, but where I was before, a lot of people had my name and number and my Facebook information, so they would message me and call me, and I would go and get the kitten from them. So it wasn't through a rescue organization they were giving the kitten to me. I was getting them from strangers. So then again, it's always just good to have your own supply. So I would say yes and no. The most important thing is just to talk to them. And then if you absolutely want to foster but your program that you're looking into won't supply anything, just talk to them, tell them your concerns, see if y'all could work anything out. You can always get supplies through your friends and family, so make an Amazon wish list and share it on your Facebook page and share it with your friends and family. Do a kitten shower instead of a baby shower, where you have your kitten and you invite guests over and they bring gifts for the kitten like food, formula, bottles, wipes, stuff like that. That's really just the best thing to do. There are plenty of resources out there. If you really want to help save lives, someone will help you. The next question I get is, how do I find a program to foster or volunteer for? I just moved to a new area and I just Googled, I personally want to do cats. So I just Googled cat rescues in my city and a whole list on Facebook came up, or excuse me, not Facebook, on Google. And then I just, contacted all of them and got some responses and gave them my information and passed it out. And then that's really all you need to do. Usually after they get your information, they'll call you, they will speak to you, probably set up a time for you to come to their base, whether that is the shelter or the lead rescue's house maybe, and they'll have you sign some paperwork and they'll give you some information, and that's when you can ask all of your questions about supplies. How long do you need to foster for? What are their guidelines for fostering? What are their requirements if they have any? So that's the best thing to do, is just get online, submit your information, get in contact with someone, meet with someone face to face if you can. If not, over the phone works just fine. But just always ask questions. You can never have enough questions, especially if you're starting for the first time. You want to be fully prepared. And someone who is working at these shelters or rescue organizations is not going to be upset if you ask them any questions. They want you to ask questions, because the more informed you are, the better it is for the pet that you are fostering. And another question I get is, why should I foster? So you should foster because there are thousands, not even thousands, millions of pets are put down in shelters every year. Cats and dogs mainly. I think I read an article that said about 2.6 million cats are euthanized in shelters every year. I think dogs, I think that was 1.6. So of course, dogs that's so sad. And if you want to foster for a dog, more power to you. I wish I could. My cats would not have it. It just depends on you and your flexibility and what you would like to do in your schedule, whether you would like to do cats or dogs or both. If you have multiple rooms and you can seclude cats and dogs, and more power to you, and that's amazing. But I myself do cats. So why should I foster? Like I said, you should foster because so many innocent, loving animals are euthanized in shelters every year. There's nothing wrong with shelter pets. They were just let down by humans. It gets me kind of tongue-tied, just because there's nothing you can say other than there are so many that get put down just for no reason, other than space. A lot of shelters euthanize because of space. So if, during kitten season, they get hundreds of kittens a week sometimes, and especially in the heat of kitten season, and then they get ferals in, which is a trap, neuter, release problem that we need to discuss, but that's going to be a whole separate video. But there's so many innocent animals that are put down, and it's no fault of their own, and we need to step in and help them. And another way you can start by doing this is spaying and neutering your pets, contributing to TNR programs. And like I said, that's going to be a whole nother video, but just to throw that in there, spaying and neutering is the #1 way to stop this madness. Spaying and neutering is first, fostering is second. You spay and neuter, you put the nip in the bud, or however that phrase goes, because you nip it in the bud, because you're not going to have any unwanted pets. So spay and neuter, spay and neuter, spay and neuter. I can't say it enough. I had to restart this because for some reason my camera just decided to cut off on me. That was weird. But the last thing that I get a lot of people saying is, I don't have time to foster. Yes, you do. I work a full-time job. So do I. I have kids. I don't have kids, but you can still foster. Even if you don't have time to do a bottle baby and do around-the-clock care like I and some other people do, you can still foster. You can have older cats that stay in your home and that are self-sufficient. You can have kittens that stay in your home and self-sufficient, or even middle-aged cats that can stay in your home and be self-sufficient. You can also do mamas and their babies. If you have a spare room, a bathroom, there's so many excuses for people not to do it, but all I can say is yes, you can. You can do it. You can help save a life. I'm allergic to cats. Then do dogs. There's always an animal that you could save. I can't foster because I would get too attached to them and never be able to let them go. I get attached to all of my fosters. I love them all so much. I look at pictures from when I had them and I miss them dearly. But I promise you that you being sad and missing them is much easier and much better than that animal being euthanized or left to die because you were too selfish to not foster it because of the heartbreak you would experience whenever they go to a new home. Yes, it is hard, it is sad when they leave, and you do miss them, but the goal of fostering is to do as many as you can. So you get them, you take care of them until they are ready to go to the new home, and when they go to a new home, you do it all over again for another one. And the goal is to move as many as you can, high turnover, of course with the appropriate care and time that they need, but the goal is to save as many animals as you can. Now, I have foster failed twice, not of my own doing, because of my boyfriend. He could not say goodbye to them, and he begged me to keep them. But you know, we had room for them, so that was fine, and I'm still able to continue my fostering. But if you say, I'm not going to foster an animal because I would get too attached to be able to let them go, I say you need to stop being selfish. You need to prioritize yourself and look at what you're actually saying. You're actually saying, I'm not going to go save this animal and get them off of death row at the shelter because I don't want to be sad whenever I find them a new home. All of the foster homes that I've given an animal to, they send me pictures and updates. We're friends on Facebook, so I can see pictures of them. It's like an open adoption. And most people are okay with that because they understand how hard it is to let them go. So for all of you who think that it's too hard to tell them goodbye, it is hard, but it is so worth it. You will cry at first and you will be sad and you will miss them. But seeing them grow old with a family that loves them instead of dying in a shelter, I mean, I don't even have to explain that any further than I already have. Cats can live up to 20 years, so why take away the possibility, the chance for them to live for up to 20 years for your momentary convenience? You know, I'll never understand that. I will always foster, I will always rescue, I will always do my part, and I hope you do too. Because these babies need us. They need us to be their voices. They need us to advocate for them. And I hope that you take that away from this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you do have any more questions, feel free to write me on Facebook, post on my Facebook page, ask me on Instagram or Twitter. I'll leave all the links and everything in the description of this video. You can even comment here on YouTube, where I'll be posting a lot more videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm a Kitten Soldier, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!